Hello, and welcome to Upfront. My name is Dean Thullner Veljacic, and we are filming on the unceded Nanaimo traditional territory. On this episode of Upfront, I'm going to sit down and have a conversation with the Maitre D Atelier of the Vancouver Island Sculpting Studio, Joel Provost. Hello, how are you?
Good afternoon.
It's Prevost, I'm sorry, yes.
No problem.
Yeah. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. How could it not be nice on this nice spring day?
Yeah, it's gorgeous out, right? Listen, I've been to your studio. We're going to have a little photograph that's going to show up here. It's quite quaint. I think it really represents how quaint and lovely your studio really is. Who did this sketching?
The watercolors was done by John Hoffman.
Well, it definitely portrays the feel of your studio. But what is absolutely it's so remarkable and undeniable that when you walk into the doors of your studio, you can feel your passion. You can feel the creativity. How did the studio come to fruition?
When I came back to the coast 8 years ago, the idea was to create a safe haven to create. Donc, it's the basis of my studio.
Right.
I'm in there 7 days a week.
Well, you live there as well.
I live there.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Well, it's absolutely stunning property. And I also noticed that you have a garden out back. So I think you also host events or have garden events in the back as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every June we do an annual garden art show with a dozen of artists.
Nice. Okay, so I wanted you to talk to me, really, I wanted to get into more about the mission of why this started.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Years ago, when I started to sculpt, there was no place to go and meet other sculptors. Over the years, 20 years in the making, I'd always thought it was really important to be able to have artists, peers, sculptors, having the chance to meet together and learn from each other. And that was a part of the creation of the studio. For me, it's a safe haven where people can come, let go, and explore creativity to achieve their goal, to achieve their dreams.
Fantastic. It is a fully equipped professional studio. What does that mean?
The fact that I teach class there, the studio is totally equipped to welcome a group of 8, 9 sculptors to work all at the same time to be able to create.
Right.
Which is rare that you see somebody doubling, tripling their equipment to work. In the case of the studio, the fact that I wanted to create an art school, that was the focus.
And it's quite successful, yes.
It's getting there. We're having quite fun.
Well, that's why we're here today. We're hoping that we're going to be able to talk about all that you have to offer and how magnificent it is and maybe get some more people interested, right? So I wanted to read something to you that I think is very important in the climate right now when we're absolutely embracing mental health and wellness, okay? So it says that the Canadian Art Therapy Association explains art therapy as a combination of the creative process and psychotherapy. It's a way to facilitate self-exploration and understanding. Art, well, it will resolve problems, sometimes conflict, and it will enhance feelings and well-being. It's a way that we can go through our thoughts and feelings that may otherwise be difficult to articulate. Do you find that when people take your classes, are they taking it just to learn how to sculpt? Are they working through emotions like the Canadian Art Therapy sort of insinuates? Or what are the reasons why people join the studio?
Yeah. At the base, a lot of people who come at the studio have different goals. And some people, it is a healing process. I often see people who have went through trauma, who come to the studio to restart being able to move their energy and to get a grip on their life. Though, not often, it's not the majority of the people who come to the studio, but it is an aspect of the work. Also, as someone which is really ADHD and really hyper, even for myself, anytime I'm stressed, I just have to go and play with clay, and you have an equilibrium inside of me who just calm down. And clay does this as a therapy. No matter what kinds of work you do, the medium itself carry you to feel healthy.
Mm-hmm. And what is the demographic of the people that come to your studio?
All over the map.
Everywhere. Diversity, inclusion, acceptance, everyone's welcome.
Completely. I have, interesting enough, there's a groups of young people at the end of their 20s, early 30s, who are evolve around the studio, who want to exceed in just finding a hobby. I also have people who are more, already they are artists. And what it is they come to the studio to excel further in what they do.
And also, I can imagine that the camaraderie of the situation. Sometimes people, through their lives, experience loss or grief, or perhaps losing people in their lives, isolation. But this is probably a very good environment for people to enroll and to be able to be part of a community and to get out of themselves.
Yes. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah. All right. So I've been to your website. I've noticed that you have a tremendous amount of very interesting classes, and I hope that we could go through some of those classes so the audience would be able to learn what there is to offer and perhaps enroll in your studio. So, urban sketching, travel sketching workshop. What does that entail?
The person who did the drawings of the studio,
Yes.
he's the instructor of this class.
Wonderful.
So he teaches people how to be very autonomous. That's when they travel, they can do sketch of buildings and landscape.
Oh, great.
So that's what his forecast, that's what his focus is. In my case, when I teach my class, it goes from learning a simple workshop an afternoon to a very dedicated 3-month program for people to push a subject and the medium.
Oh, great. All right, so there's also the Garden of Eden.
Yes.
What is that?
That was the Garden of Eden I was just starting to talk about, sorry.
No problem.
This entitled, it's a 5-week program. It's only 1 night a week. And we work in a small group of 8 people with a live model. So this is also offered with a male or a female model. And people recreate a life-size torso out from a block of 150 pounds of clay.
That's amazing. So I didn't get into your website in regards to pricing and cost, and I don't want to get into that, but one of the things I wanted to understand was when you enroll, your fee for enrolling will cover the cost of your supplies, yes? Yes, okay. What is the hand in motion?
The hand in motion, it's one of the most, it's one of the workshops which is the most anatomically correct. We study the bones, we study the tendon.
Michelangelo.
Yes. This is the only way often artists say, oh, it's so hard to draw the hands. So they do paintings, they do work, and they hide them. So often I have even painters coming to the studio to learn what is the mechanic of the hand.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. So here, I'm interested in this. It's called Discovering Yourself Through Clay, which flips back to my conversation about people going to art for art therapy. So what does that mean, discovering yourself through clay?
The person who would give that workshop at the studio is an art therapist.
Okay.
She's a certified art therapist here in town. And she do a show, this workshop, the focus is not art therapy, but it's a reflection. It's more an approach where it's a reflection on your life.
Oh, that's great.
It's fun.
And I'm sure it's quite busy.
It is, but yes.
Yeah, what is one of the most busy classes for you out of all of them?
Garden of Eden.
Garden of Eden, okay. There's also the eyes exploration.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
The eyes of exploration is to learn how to sculpt expression in your work. From sadness to happiness to joys, we really focus on how to cut the irises of the eye to create the emotion.
Right, this is incredible. It's like finite details, Precision. Yeah. And how long are this class? Like, is it a one-off class? Is it a succession class? How does it work?
Often those workshops are often on the weekend, like 2-3 hour workshop, 2-3 hour session, and that's what is the workshop.
So you're having art classes on weekends consecutively for 12 months of the year. So you must have a sustainable group of artists that continue to facilitate your studio, because that's a huge endeavor.
Yes.
You must be exhausted.
Yes. The fun part is that it gave a chance to professional artists to share their skill. Most of the people who teach at the studio are not teachers. They are professional artists. And what did they come? They come to the studio to share their skill. Alors, it's always hands-on. It's always practical. And people leave the studio with art that they have created.
And are they able to sell this art?
Once a year, yes, some of them do.
Their own fruition, though,
That's it.
outside of the studio.
No, even at the studio, we do a student exhibit every year.
Great.
This coming September, and then some of the students who take lots of class place their work for sale. And we did sell quite a few pieces of the last student show last year.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So interesting that these individuals that are artists, do they volunteer to teach?
No.
No, so it's part of the fee. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
What is it that makes these artists come to your studio to teach? Why do they do that?
I think because I organize stuff reasonably well.
But I think it'd be quite gratifying, right? We've all been in this, at this age, I think we can all say we've been in a situation where we've mentored other people and facilitated learning.
Yeah.
So I think this could be quite remarkable. So are you looking for more artists to teach in the studio?
Yes, we're always receptive to having people sharing their skill. Because if they don't, how do you and where do you learn it?
Right.
Where do you learn to have fun, to just go sketching, traveling around the world?
Okay. So if I was an artist and I would like to join your studio and facilitate classes, how would I take those steps to do that?
The easiest thing is to go to the webpage.
Right.
And then look at what we're offering for the upcoming semester and just send me an email and then we'll go from there.
Lastly, I noticed you have a workshop called the Mouth Workshop. What does that entail?
The Mouth Workshop came as an idea from the student, trying to teach people how to do the portrait. We realized that it was too hard to people to learn all at once. And what I did is I divided all the element of the face. Don't like the eyes workshop that we were just mentioning. The mouth workshop, there is what is the mouth is for. Now, when we study the mouth, what it is you study the muscle structure of the face. That's the focus.
Well, this is quite smart, though, because you are offering a plethora of classes that really tailor to not only an artist that has lots of experience, but to people who are really wanting to get into this and to start and being able to take smaller sections and learn and then grow it within your community.
Lots of the people who come to the studio are, in fact, hobbyists. It's about a third of the clientele of the studio. And those people, some of them don't have a hobby. They're retiring. They're looking to see how they're going to keep themselves busy in the rainy season in the fall and the winter. And that's why they come to the studio.
Yeah, but that's amazing because not only, like I said earlier, and I'm kind of repeating myself, but not only are you providing an environment of education and learning, but you're providing a community. You are bringing people together to support one another through a learning process. And in that process, you're providing wellness, you're providing community, you're providing mentorship. There's a lot of bonuses to being part of this community. It's quite magnificent.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, well
we're having fun. One of the things which is interesting is when you talk about in the past, when I was teaching, I often in the past were dividing the hobbyists with professional artists and with people from the medical field. Because at the studio, I often teach doctors, dentists, massage therapists, people who work with the body. Donc, I realized over the time that it was much better to have people of all the different levels in the same class. I realized that more I was keeping the professional artists and the most advanced student with brand new beginner for the workshop Garden of Eden. Everybody worked quicker. The achievement of what they receive is so much deeper because they see other people doing it. So they're not just looking at the model to try to figure out where the line goes. They just come up and say, oh, they can see how it goes. It creates always that energy that people feed from each other, share each other's knowledge, and play.
Very inspiring. Very inspiring. Okay, so on your website, I noticed that you have Artist in Residence. That's called what was it called? The AIR teaching program.
AIR program, yes.
Yes. So it says it's aimed to empower individuals embarking on personal clay sculpting journey, hands-on experience. Let's talk about that.
Yes. The AIR program, when people when you take a class, there's a structure that we have to follow. Donc, I will allow you to stay on the subject for so long, and then I have to push everybody to keep a group together. When people have passed that stage and they have individual project, then they say, okay, I would like to sculpt a beaver or a horse.
Okay. Yes.
And what we do is we sit together, we look at their vision, we look at their goal, and then what I do is I develop a program for them to achieve, to understand how to create this from clay, and also how to learn about, and what do they need to learn about their subject. Donc, there's lots of my time that I work with, and a lot of the artists in residence are not necessarily professional artists. They're often people who have a hobby or who are ceramists. You often have ceramists who say, okay, I want to learn to work clay differently. Alors, they come to the studio and said, okay, I would like to learn how to build a horse.
Right.
Okay, donc now, how do you do it? How do you sculpt from a piece? Right now at the studio, there's a horse going on. It's 700 pounds.
Oh my God.
And I said to her, I said, you have to realize that there's probably not more than a handful of individuals on the continent who can sculpt clay at that scale.
Yes, absolutely.
Donc we have from very tiny project to humongous monument getting built at the studio.
Well, you've got the space. It's a fantastic space. But I also understand that if you're coming from out of town, you can do a week or a weekend residency?
Yeah. Donc the difference between the two programs, one of the programs is more for people of the region who are used to study with me. Alors they come as an artist in residence. Let's say if their project takes 3 months, 4 months, they come once a week over a period of time to create their project. Usually I give them homework. I give them, and I follow them through the entire program to make sure that they succeed learning their subject. In the weekend or the week, the difference there is that people are coming from out of town. When I was in Montreal, I had people coming from Spain, New York, France, who were coming to Montreal to study much further in training. Usually they're all artists. And they want to see how the hell you sculpt a horse of 700 pounds.
Well, clearly, I mean, this is, if you're coming for the weekend residency, it is up to the individual to find their accommodations. Please tell me you're not running an Airbnb at the same time as managing all of this.
No, I'm not running an Airbnb.
Yeah, so they have to accommodate
That's
themselves.
it. Yeah, usually people, it's from out of town, they come in for 2 weekends. Like I had a few people in the last few years from the Lower Mainland who came to study with me, then they came 2 weekends. Other people come for 5 days or 7 days a week.
Oh, great.
And they come for a week, we do an intense 40-hour program, and then they go, and when 2 months later, when the piece is fired, then I ship it to them.
Nice. So I want to talk about the mushrooms that we have here on set. Yes. You are having an event. I went to one of your events. I had to go early, so I couldn't stay, but I've seen on your social media platforms, they're very well attended. There's an event coming up. Let's talk about the event.
Yes. The fungal fantasy.
It's on Saturday and Sunday, May 24th to May 25th. What time of day will this be?
It's from 11 to 5.
11 to 5.
And the reception, the opening reception, the Friday night, is from 5 to 9.
Everyone's welcome.
Everybody is welcome.
That's another thing I wanted to mention about your studio is that everyone is welcome, but it's best to book an appointment or to contact you prior because, as we've discussed, you have a lot of things going on and you may not have the ability or time to meet with someone on their terms. So again, the doors are open to the entire community, but just give a call or make a connection first.
For any event, they don't have to reserve.
No, not an event, but I mean just to drop by and learn about the
drop by,
studio.
to come to visit the studio, to
learn.
Yeah, I am at the studio 7 days a week. I live there. It's fun. That's all what I do in life.
But I want to circle back here. Hold on. Yes. I want to go back to our friends here.
Yeah.
So what's happening at this event?
You took us somewhere else.
I know. I took you somewhere else. Where are we? What's happening with the mushroom?
Okay. We had we're going to be 6 artists who are creating right now. All the work, the entire gallery is going to be booked with new work from those artists. It's going to go from clay sculpture, stone sculpture, metal sculpture, glass blown, jewelry.
And will this all be for sale?
All of this will be for sale. Yeah, and it varied from $75 to $1,000.
Perfect.
Yes.
Sounds great.
And it's all around the mushrooms.
Now, you commission artwork, right? So I understand there's a category called Furry Friends.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Furry friend. That was COVID. During COVID, I had to cancel all the work because we could not. I could not work with others, sadly. And I decided to sculpt. I was babysitting my son's dog, and I played sculpting the dog. I had no model. He became my model. And I did, at that point, an entire study for 4 months, purely just studying the anatomy, the bone and the muscle structure of the dog. And at that point, when we got shut down again, the second run, I did a call to people and said, send me the photo of your dogs. That 3 months, I sculpting 14 different race of dog. I did my homework. I applied to myself what I teach when people come and work with me. I did the same thing. I took the time to do my homework.
Well, what a great way to capture your furry friends of the family, right?
Yes.
I do want to say something here because we are going to be getting close on time here, and I wanted to share with the audience that, Joel, you have won in 2025 the Nanaimo Award of Excellence in Culture. This award was presented to an organization or individual that has achieved regional and or national recognition in the field of arts and is recognized as a Nanaimo artist who has demonstrated excellence in their field and significant inspiration for others. And I know that you're inspirational, and I've been, I circle back here, I've been told that you are very gracious, you give back to the community, you support youth. And I wanted to mention this rounding up the end of the show here because I wanted people to understand that you are very well recognized, you're very well respected, and you have a tremendous talent. And I think this show, I'm hoping that this show is going to go into the homes of those on Vancouver Island and inspire them to join you, your community, and to take these classes, right? So as we come to the end of this interview, what would you like to say to the audience? What would you like to tell them? Why should they come to the studio?
Why would they come to the studio? One, because it's fun.
Yes.
And it's a very good way to be serene. It's a very good way to feel grounded. Working with clay really, people who garden, the beauty of gardening. Yes. When you work with clay, is the same emotion. It's the same feeling that you're going through. You feel connected to the world.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're very charming, and I've been to your studio, and I can see the talent, and I want people to understand how inviting and how engaging it is, and how much patience you have to be able to help people grow in this area. Yeah? Yes. Yeah. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to let everyone know is the address. So where is the studio?
The studio is located at 294 Harewood Road, which is, by the way, which was originally the first general store created for Harewood Mine.
Yeah, it looks like a general store.
That's what it was.
Right.
And that's why I kept the barn structure to keep it connected with the neighborhood.
Perfect. So in the future, what's next? What are we looking forward to in this fiscal year at the Vancouver Island Sculpting Studio? What's coming down the pipeline? We're going to have this event, obviously.
Yep.
What's next?
Next is the garden show. The 6th annual Garden Art Show, which is going to happen the last weekend of June.
Perfect.
Yeah, and at that time, then it's a garden show. We sell art for the garden.
I see. Nice.
Yeah. Donc, usually we have 11 artists, and people come outside. We usually have musicians. We present music, and people come and enjoy your tea and
There
drink.
doesn't seem to be any shortage of good times and fun at the studio. Well, what a great thing you're providing for the community. So listen, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to Upfront and joining me and my guest, Joel, today. If you are watching, please go to the website, VancouverIslandSculptingStudio.com. There is a tremendous amount of classes to take. There's events to attend. And I can't express enough what an inviting and what a beautiful space this is. So again, thank you for tuning in to Upfront. We'll see you next time.